ॐ यथाग्निर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। Good morning and welcome everybody. So today we'll be continuing our last discussion on the Durga Saptashati or the Chandi. Just a brief introduction. So we have already seen that the Chandi describes the divine nature and the exploits of Durga, the ultimate reality or the primordial power or the Mahadevi or the Mahashakti. She has so many names. So the three aspects of the Devi are depicted in the Chandi, and we have already dealt with the Tamasika and the Rajasika aspects, that is the Mahakali and Mahalakshmi. So today we will discuss the Sattvika aspect, the Sattvika aspect in which the Devi kills her most powerful enemies, the most powerful demons, as Mahasaraswati. The demons are, as you know, Shumbha and Nishumbha. So this is called the Uttama Charitra, or the story of Mahasaraswati, in whom Sattva is predominant. So as you know that this battle between Sattva Guna and the demons is actually depicts actually the internal battle which is going on inside all those who are trying to be good, who are trying to walk in the path of God. So in this connection, I would just like to mention a question which was once asked of Sri Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi, you must know, a very great soul, a knower of God. So one devotee asked him, why is it sometimes I find concentration on the self hopelessly difficult? So Ramana Maharshi answers, that is because of the desires. We keep on forgetting we are the self and thus think we are the body or the ego. If the will and desire to remember the self are strong enough, they will eventually overcome all the desires. Then Ramana Maharshi says, there must be a great battle going on inwardly all the time until the self is realized. This battle is symbolically spoken of in the scriptural writings as the fight between God and Satan, or the God and the demons. In the Mahabharata, it is also depicted as the war between good and evil. So this we should remember, and when we see that Mahasaraswati has to fight so long with Shumbha and Nishumbha in order to kill them, this is just symbolic of how we have to fight, how long we have to fight, how long we have to perform sadhana, till all these demons of improper worldly desires within us are finally subdued or killed. So now we will start with the story of the Chandi. So now Mahasaraswati appears to kill Shumbha and Nishumbha. So before each of these forms of the Devi, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati, there is a small meditation on the Devi that is called Dhyanam, in which the aspects of the Devi are beautifully mentioned in the form of a Sanskrit verse. Atha Dhyanam. So this is the meditation on Mahasaraswati. Ghanta Shula Halani Shankhamusale Chakram Dhanu Sayakam Hastabjair Dadatim Ghananta Vilasat Shitang Shutulya Prabham Gauri Deha Samudbhavam Trijagatam Adhara Bhutam Maha Purvam Atra Saraswatim Anubhaje Shumbhadi Daityardinim. I meditate on the incomparable Mahasaraswati, who holds in her 8 lotus-like hands a bell, a trident, a plough, a conch, a mace, a discus, bow and arrow, who is effulgent like the moon shining at the fringe of a cloud, who is the destroyer of Shumbha and other asuras. Asuras means demons, who issued forth from Parvati's body and is the substratum of the 3 worlds. This is the beautiful form described to us of Goddess Saraswati. So how did the goddess kill Shumbha and Nishumbha? Let's come to that. Now, as always, the demons bent on creating trouble for the gods. It symbolizes that how the desires create trouble for all the good people in the universe. So the demons Shumbha and Nishumbha drove the gods away from heaven. Again, so gods, poor fellows, what to do now? They remembered Devi Durga's divine promise that whenever they would pray to her, she would come to them to help. So they remembered that Devi Durga had granted us the boon, whenever in calamities you think of me, that very moment I will appear and put an end to all your troubles. So remembering this promise of the Devi, the gods went to Himavat, Lord of the mountains, and there started praising the Devi, who is also known as Vaishnavi Maya, the elusive power of God Vishnu. So this is a beautiful prayer. Again, I will just chant the first few stanzas. Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatam Namaha Nama Prakrityai Bhadrayai Niyata Pranatasmatam Raudrayai Namo Nityayai Gauryai Dhatre Namo Namaha Jyotsnayai Chendurupinyai Sukhaya Satatam Namaha Kalyanai Pranatavridhyai Siddhyai Kurmo Namo Namaha Nairityai Bhubhritam Lakshmai Sharvanyai Te Namo Namaha. After that it continues, as you know, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, etc., etc. Like the Devi who exists in all of us, as compassion, as Vidya, as everything. So the translation of these few verses is, O Mother, thou art self-existent, self-luminous. We bow down to thee, O bestower of all good. Thou art both prosperity and adversity, success and failure, and thou exist as the conditioned and the unconditioned. So it's a very long stuti or praise, very beautiful. Now, when the devas, when the gods prayed to the Divine Mother in this way, Parvati appeared. Goddess Parvati, you know, the consort of Shiva. And when Parvati appeared, an auspicious goddess came out from her body. Now, body in Sanskrit is called kosha. So, since that goddess came from Saraswati's body, her name became Kaushiki. So, when that goddess appeared from her body, after that it is said that Parvati became dark in complexion and was known as Kalika. So, this goddess came to destroy Shumbha and Nishumbha. Now, Kaushiki means the goddess who came out from the body of Parvati, was exceedingly beautiful, and she now took her place at the top of the mountains. So, what happened was, Chanda and Munda were two servants of Shumbha and Nishumbha. So, Chanda Munda happened to go on the way. They saw that this Kaushiki was sitting on the mountain, the goddess Kaushiki. Now, Kaushiki was extremely beautiful, as all goddesses are. So, Chanda and Munda, when they saw her, they were absolutely bewildered by her beauty. And as often happens, the demons see everything in a opposite way, in a corrupted way. So now Chanda and Munda went, after seeing the goddess, they went to their master Shumbha and Nishumbha and told her, my lords, we have seen a very beautiful woman, such beauty you have never seen ever. So actually we think that she should be at your side. So please tell her to come to you. Like that, this Chanda and Munda told Shumbha and Nishumbha, their master. So Shumbha and Nishumbha agreed to the proposal, and they sent one of their messengers. Messenger's name was Sugriva. So Sugriva was a demon. He went to Kaushiki, the goddess, and conveyed the message of Shumbha and Nishumbha to her, that his masters, Shumbha and Nishumbha, were calling her, so she should come at once in obedience to their command. Now, in answer, the goddess gave a very beautiful reply. Goddess who was Durga herself. The goddess smiled to herself when she heard this request, and she replied in this way, Kim tvatra yat parigyatam mithya tat kriyate katham shruyatam alpa buddhitvat pratigya ya krita pura. Alpa buddhitvat. The goddess said, my intelligence is very little, you know. So, please listen to a vow which I have taken. Pratigya ya krita pura. Earlier itself, I have taken this vow because of my low intelligence. Please listen to that. What is that vow? Yo mam jayati sangrame, yo me darpam vyapohati, यो मे प्रतिबलो लोके स मे bharta bhavishyati. So what is my vow? The vow is a simple one. Yo mam jayati sangrame. One who conquers me in battle. Yo me darpam vyapohati. One who removes my pride. And yo me pratibalo loke. Who is my match in strength in this world. Sa me bharta bhavishyati. Only he shall be my husband. This is the simple vow which I have taken. So let Shumba and Nishumba come here. They are such great people and they should vanquish me. It should be nothing for them. So after defeating me, they can take me as their bride. So don't delay. Go to Shumba and Nishumba and tell them what I have said. So Sugriva, this messenger of Shumba and Nishumba, he said to the goddess, do you know what you are saying? Just think before speaking. All the gods together can't face Shumba and Nishumba. They've driven all the gods out of heaven. And you, a young woman, you want to invite them to battle. Are you out of your mind? So the goddess said, what to do? I have so little intelligence. This is the vow I've taken. You go and tell them it should be nothing. They can come and defeat me in one moment and conquer me, and then I can marry them. So Sugriva, poor fellow, what to do? He went to Shumba and Nishumba. Now Shumba and Nishumba were enraged. They were angry. How dare this woman challenge us to a fight? We have conquered the whole world. Now this silly lady is telling us, okay, we will show her. So now they were very great warriors. So why go ourselves? First, let us again send an army. So whom did they send? They sent Dhumra Lochana, their another demon who was under them, and 6,000 soldiers. So Dhumra Lochana, along with 6,000 demons, came to Devi Durga and again requested the order of Shumba Nishumba and said that I will take you by force if you persist in your silly vow. I will take you by force. So when the Devi said, no, I'm sorry, my vow is my vow, I can't do anything, then Dhumra Lochana rushed towards the Devi to capture her. So what happened when Dhumra Lochana rushed towards the goddess? Ityukta sobhya dhavat tam asuro Dhumra Lochana. Dhavat means run. So Dhumra Lochana ran towards the goddess. So what did the goddess do? Hunkarena eva tam bhasmasa chakara ambika tata. Ambika, what did she do? One hum, that hunkara, that sound, whom she made, and Dhumra Lochana was burned to ashes. Just that one whom. So this is beautifully mentioned in the Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. You must have, all of you, read that. Ai nijahum kriti matra nirakrita dhumra vilochana dhumra shate samara vishoshita shonita bija samudbhava shonita bijalate Shiva Shiva Shumbha Nishumba Mahava Tarpita Bhuta Pishacharate Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini Ramya Kapardini Shaila Sute. I Nija Hum Kriti Matra, just by that hum, Dhumra Vilochana, that demon, Dhumra Shate means, Shata means 100, and here Dhumra means smoke particles. So she reduced Dhumra Lochana to 100 smoke particles just by that one hunkar. And samara vishoshita shonita bija samudbhava shonita bija late. This is a killing of the Rakta Bija, the demon, about whom we will discuss same today's talk only. So she dried up the strength of the original demon Rakta Bija and similar Rakta Bijas who were produced from his blood. So she reduced this Dhumra Lochana to 1,000 smoke particles with just a humkriti, just a hum. Now, when Shumba and Nishumba heard this, then they were extremely angry. They were extremely angry, and next they sent this Chanda and Munda. Chanda and Munda were another two demons under him. So Chanda and Munda came from Shumba and Nishumba. They had orders that they should either bring the Devi by force or this time kill her. So no mercy is to be shown now. If the Devi comes, well and good, or bring her by force or kill her, that's all. This is the order from Shumba and Nishumba to his warriors Chanda and Munda. Now when the Devi saw that the Shumba and Nishumba was so arrogant, they had sent another two emissaries, Chanda and Munda, to fight against her. She was extremely angry. And it is said that in her anger, she was so angry that her countenance, her complexion became dark. And then when her face became dark out of anger, from her forehead issued Kali. Kali, the terrible Kali, Karala Vadani. Karala Vadani means of terrible form. That Kali came out of her forehead, and she was terrible to look at, and she was armed with a sword and a noose. That Kali came out, and her form is described. She was bearing the strange skull-topped staff. She had a staff or a stick which had a skull on top, and she was decorated with a garland of skulls. She was clad in a tiger's skin and very terrible to look at owing to her emaciated flesh with gaping mouth and her tongue lolling out, her deep sunk reddish eyes, and she came out filling the skies with her terrible roar. So this was the Kali who came out from the Devi's forehead. Now this Kali easily killed this Chanda and Munda. She cut off their heads and brought them to the Devi. So the Devi was very pleased with Kali, and when she brought the heads of Chanda and Munda to her, the Devi said, Yasmat Chandam cha Mundam cha grihitva tvam upagata Chamunda iti tato loke khyata Devi bhavishyasi. So, since you have brought me both Chanda and Munda, O Devi, you will be famous in the world henceforth by the name of Chamunda. This is also mentioned beautifully in the Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. Nija bhuja danda nipatita khanda vipatita munda bhatadhipate जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्य कपर्दिनि शैलसुते. So Munda is this head. So who felled the heads of the demons Chanda and Munda with the weapons in her arms and conquered the enemy warriors. Jaya Jaya He. Jaya Jaya means glory to the Divine Mother. So after Chanda and Munda were killed by goddess Kali, now after this came another very powerful demon, that was the Rakta Bija. Rakta Bija, you know, he had a very powerful weapons at his hand. Before we will read about that, we will hear about that. But before Rakta Bija came, now the Devi knew that, all the gods also knew that now the Devi would have to fight really hard, because the demons who were coming were very, very strong and powerful. So what happened was, in order to help the Devi and for the well-being of the gods, there issued forth, endowed with exceeding vigor and strength, Shaktis from the bodies of all the gods like Brahma, Shiva, Kartikeya, Vishnu, Indra, and those Shaktis now went to Chandika to empower her all the more. What is this Shakti? The Shaktis are the embodied forms of the powers of all the gods. So the powers of those gods took on a form, as it were, and further strengthened Devi Durga or the Chandika. So it is said in the Chandi, Brahmesha guna vishnunam tathendrasya cha shaktayah sharirebhyo vinishkramya tadrupaishchandikayayuh. So Brahma, Vishnu, Kartikeya, all from all these, Tatha Indra, from Indra, these Shaktis came, Vinishkramya. Vinishkramya means coming out, and they all went to the Devi. So after this, the Devi had many more names added to her, like the Shakti from Brahma came to her, so she was known as the Brahmani. The Shakti from Mahesha or Shiva came to her, so she was known as the Maheshwari. Then she was known as the Amba or the Kaumari, with the Shakti from Kartikeya, and also Narasimhi, Aindri, etc. So with the Shaktis, many names were added to the Divine Mother, and she became extremely strong. So now appears another great Shakti from the Chandika, which was most terrible, exceedingly fierce, and yelling like 100 jackals. This is the description given of the goddess, which now came out from the Divine Mother to fight Rakta Bija. Now Rakta Bija was extremely difficult to kill, because what happened was, suppose you kill someone with a weapon. So before dying, that demon will shed blood. Some blood will come out of the body. Now Rakta Bija had this power that whenever even a drop of his blood fell to the ground, out of that drop of blood would emerge another Rakta Bija, just like the original Rakta Bija. So just imagine, when Rakta Bija was hurt, suppose 100 drops of blood fell to the ground, from that would emerge another 100 Rakta Bijas, which would be all of them would be as powerful as the original Rakta Bija. So this was the thing, even a drop of blood which dropped on the ground from Rakta Bija would create another Rakta Bija. So it is said in the Chandi, Rakta Bindur Yadav Bhumau Patatyasya Sharirataha. Sharirata means from the body. Rakta Bindu, a drop of blood. Bhumau Patati, if it fell to the ground. Samut Patati Medinyam Tat Pramana Tadasura. So immediately from that drop of blood would rise up from the earth another Rakta Bija. So you see, it was practically impossible to kill him, because whenever blood would fall out from his body on the ground, there would be hundreds of Rakta Bijas. From the stream of blood which fell on the earth from him, when he received multiple wounds by the weapons of the Devi, hundreds of such Rakta Bijas were born. Now what to do? How to kill Rakta Bija? So when the Devas or the gods saw that this Rakta Bija was practically impossible to kill, they grew very dejected. They thought, now we have no chance of winning. This Rakta Bija alone is sufficient to defeat all of us. So when the Devi, when Chandika saw that the gods had become dejected, she laughed and said to Kali, which had come out from her body. So the Devi laughed and said to Kali, O Chamunda, open your mouth wide. Vistirnam vadanam kuru. Vistirnam, wide. Vadanam means mouth. So open your mouth wide. And when I hurt this Rakta Bija with my weapons, all the blood which comes out, don't let it fall to the ground, but drink all of it. And those thousands Rakta Bijas which emerge from his blood, those also you take every one of them into your own mouth. This is what the goddess commanded Kali to do. So now there was no trouble, because when the Devi, she hurt Rakta Bija with her weapons, all the blood which came out was drunk by the goddess Kali, Chamunda. Chamunda, or this Kali, she drank all the blood, and as a result, finally, Rakta Bija was killed by the Devi. So after Rakta Bija was killed, now comes the time for the final battle. Shumba and Nishumba were extremely enraged that their whole army was slaughtered by the Devi, a woman, and now whatever remained of their army, Shumba and Nishumba now went themselves to fight with the goddess. So it is said that Nishumba first rushed forward with the chief forces of the demons. In front of him, behind him, and on both sides of him, big demons, big Rakshasas, very angry and biting their lips, advanced to slay the Devi. And Shumba also, the great mighty Shumba, went forward, surrounded with his own troops, to slay Chandika. So now commenced a terrible battle between the Devi and all those powers of the different gods, and on the other side Shumba and Nishumba. There was a terrible battle. So first Devi, what did she do? she first cut off the head of Nishumbha. Now seeing his brother Nishumbha, who was so dear to him, dearer than life, Shumbha became mad with anger. He grew absolutely mad and said to the Devi, what did he Shumbha say? Balavalepadushte tvam ma durge garvamavah anyasam balamashritya yudhyase yati manini. What did he say? He said, O Durga, you are puffed up with the pride of strength, but don't show your pride to me. You are extremely haughty and you fight unfairly. How? You fight resorting to the strength of others. See, all the Shaktis which the different gods had given the Devi, which we have mentioned earlier. So all those Shaktis were there with Durga. So the Shumbha said, this is not a fair fight. Now I am alone here and you are fighting with all the powers of the gods and you are still your pride of your strength. So now what the Devi said, that is extremely important. She said, Ekai vaham jagatyatra dvitiya ka mama para. The Devi said, I am all alone in the world here. Who else is there beside me? Pashyaitam dushta. O dushta, O vile one. Pashyaitam. Just see. Mam yeva vishantyo mad vibhutayah. Just see that all these powers of mine are now again merged in my own body. So these what you saw, what you thought are different, are actually my own powers. And now they have all merged back into me. So all the other, these power Shaktis merged, were absorbed in the body of the Devi. Then Ambika alone remained. So then again a fierce battle was fought between the Shumbha demon and the Devi, and Shumbha was finally slain. So after he died, the mother was victorious. The gods became overjoyed. It is said that the sun became brilliant, favorable winds blew, so all the good omens were seen, and the gods were highly delighted and sang praises in chorus to Mahasaraswati, the highest form of the Devi. So this is the final stuti or the praise of the goddess in the Chandi. Again very beautiful. And again I will chant just the first few verses. Devi prapannarthi hare prasida prasida matar jagato khilasya prasida vishveshwari pahi vishvam Tvamishwari Devi Characharasya Adharabhuta Jagatastvameka Mahiswarupena Yatasthitasi Apam Swarupa Sthitaya Tvayaitat Apyayate Kritsnamalangya Virye Tvam Vaishnavi Shaktirananta Virya विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतु. O Mother of the Universe, be propitious unto us who solely depend upon thee, as water, air, and all other elements thou dost nourishes and sustain all the creatures of the world. As Vaishnavi Shakti or Mahamaya, thou dost liberate us from samsara, that is the round of births and deaths, and as Maya, you also bind us down to the same samsara. So thus propitiated, the Devi was pleased and granted boons to the gods, that wherever this divine hymn, which I chanted just now, it's a very long hymn actually. So whenever this divine hymn or stotra is sung with reverence, she will be always present in an invisible form. This was the boon which the Devi gave to the gods. And another very important thing which she said was, this is very interesting. The Devi said, when the 28th Yuga has arrived, 28th Yuga has arrived, during the period of the Vaivaswata Manu, two other great asuras will be born, just like Shumbha and Nishumbha, and then I will again be born. I will again take birth. I will be reborn in the womb of Yashoda, in the home of cowherd Nanda, and I will destroy them both. So this is a wonderful thing that the Devi said, when these two will be reborn, the Kansa and that Shishupala, I think. So Shumba and Nishumbha were reborn as Kansa and Shishupala, and then the Devi was born as Krishna to destroy them. This is a very interesting thing which is mentioned in the Chandi. So now comes the final message of the Chandi. The Rishi Medhas, he chanted the whole of the Chandi in response to a question from this that merchant Samadhi and Suratha. So now Medhas Rishi concludes his message after giving this final teaching, the most important teaching it may be called. So the Rishi said that, O great king, therefore take refuge in her, the supreme Ishwari. Tam upaihi Maharaja Sharanam Parameshwarim. Take refuge in the Parameshwari, the supreme Ishwari. She indeed, when worshipped, bestows on men enjoyment, heaven, and final release, that is mukti. So tam upaihi Maharaja Sharanam Parameshwarim Aradhita Saiva Nrinam Bhoga Swarga Apavargada. Aradhita, when she is worshipped, she gives what? She gives whatever we desire. If we desire bhoga, enjoyment, she will give that. If we desire apavarga, if we desire swarga or heaven, she will give that. But if we desire the highest, which is apavarga or liberation, she will give that also. This is the final message of the Rishi to Suratha and Samadhi, and through them to all of mankind. So what can we learn from that? That the final refuge of all of us is God. God or Devi is the final refuge for all of us. Her feet are, or her holy feet are our only refuge. And this is beautifully mentioned in the Mahishasur Mardini Stotram also, when it is said, तव पदमेव परं पदमेत्यनुशीलयतो मम किं न शिवे जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्य कपर्दिनि शैलसुते. So tava padam eva param pada. Your feet indeed are the supreme feet or the supreme refuge. So how can I not practice devotion towards them, O auspicious mother? And again the same thing is said in the next verse also. तव चरणं शरणं करवाणि नतामरवाणि निवासि शिवं जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्य कपर्दिनि शैलसुते. तव चरणं sharanam, your feet, your holy feet are the only refuge. And I prostrate before you, O eternal Vani, that is the Devi Mahasaraswati, in whom resides all auspiciousness. Natam Aravani Nivasi Shivam. Shivam is auspiciousness, Nivasi means residing. So I bow down to you, one whose feet are the only shelter in this world. So with this the sage Medhas finished his narration of the mother's greatness, and now Suratha and Samadhi, they therefore retired to the forest to perform penances, to perform austerities, to please the Devi. So after they performed austerities for a long period, the Devi became very pleased with their earnest devotion and worship and appeared and granted them boons by which Suratha regained his lost possessions and Samadhi gained supreme knowledge. So Suratha had wanted worldly possessions, so he got them. Samadhi had wanted the supreme knowledge or mukti, so he got that also. So this is also mentioned in the Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. Suratha Samadhi Samana Samadhi 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 Sujatarate Jaya Jaya He Mahishasuramardini Ramya Kapardini Shailasute. So Suratha and Samadhi, Samana Samadhi. So now both of them, the devotional contemplation of Suratha for worldly gains and the devotional contemplation of merchant Samadhi for supreme knowledge, both of them bore fruit because the Devi granted both of them their desires. So this is the thing, this is the message of the Chandi, that if we want anything in this world, we have to pray to the ultimate reality, which is called God or Devi or Vishnu or Shiva, so many names, and that is our real self also. So that power, that infinite power, can grant all of our desires. Whatever we want, we can get from God if we but persist in our endeavors, if we but persist in our sadhana. So with this, the Durga Saptashati or the Chandi ends. So we will stop today, and then as usual, if somebody has to say anything. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.